Bienvenuti everyone to beautiful Milan. Right now we are in an interesting food market called Mercato Centrale, which is right in the train station. It's a really cool concept, similar to timeout markets in New York City and also urban space markets as well. Really cool way of bringing all Italian cuisine kind of in one single place. And it might be cheaper than going to your typical Milan restaurant in the center of town, because Milan is surprisingly expensive compared to the rest of Italy. So I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Right now I'm on the second level, kind of enjoying a little bit of the privacy of this level. The main restaurant's on the first level. I will show you some video of it, and then after this, I might show you a little bit more clips and photos of it. So right now, here is I'm enjoying two classic Milanese dishes, plus I got myself a dessert, but this dessert has a spin on it. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm super excited to show you more of this food and enjoy a meal with all of you. So Il Mercato Centrale has, cool thing is you can actually order your drinks from the table, which is awesome, and you order it basically online. You can order your spritzes, you can order your classic Negroni, Americano. I've been actually hankering for Americano. I gotta have that soon. And then you can have different wines and such. All you do is scan the QR code and they bring it to your table, which is a good deal. There's a few dine-in restaurants down there, but they're closed today. So I think in the weekend is where the dine-in restaurants open up. Downstairs there was like 2 dining establishments. The rest were kind of casual. So I got the 2 casual ones, but I got the classic Milanese dishes, which I'm so hyped for. So I got a glass of wine, Tremina Aromatico, which I'm not entirely sure what that wine is, but it's a white wine, super excited. I love my whites, I really don't like my reds, so that's why I vied for white. I have a risotto Milanese with some beef ragout on top of it, so beef stew on top of a risotto Milanese, which is kind of this rice pasta dish or rice dish that is filled with saffron. And then right here we have a classic Vio Milanese, which is basically a Wiener schnitzel, Vienna schnitzel, basically that, but Milan also adopted it. There's a crazy history behind that. If anyone knows, do let me know in the comments, with some potato, some salad. And then lastly, a tiramisu with a spin on it. This is a gluten-free tiramisu, meaning instead of using regular cookies, they use rice flour cookies, which I'm super excited to try it out. So let me know where you're watching from. Plus I got sparkling water, 2 bottles of it. Ooh. I'm super hyped. So yes, this is like a similar concept to the food markets that you see in New York, the one you saw in Lyon back in 2022. I featured food markets in many countries. Borough Market in England, in London. But this is the first time I've seen one in Italy. This is not really Italy style, at least traditionally. But Milan is a very forward-thinking city. If you kind of want to see Italy with a modern flair, Milan is the city to go to. I gotta hook up my battery because I'm running out of battery. And then we're gonna get on to eating. So it has been a while since I've done the food eating tour. Nibud says, oh no, tiramisu should have gluten. You know, I'm not 100% sure it really requires it, but let's see. Let's wait for dessert. I'm gonna have a full meal here, so it's gonna be a longer broadcast, and we're just gonna chat while I'm eating. So again, let me know where you're watching from, and feel free to ask me any questions. But first, let's taste test, and then I'll get to the questions. Some wine, let's see. Susie says, are you really at the Chelsea Market? Kind of looks like the Chelsea Market, but luckily it's open late night, unlike the Chelsea Market, which is good news. And it's right at the train station, right in the middle of the train station, which is amazing. Here, cheers, salute. Ooh, that's an interesting wine. Wow, very floral. A bit dry. That's an interesting wine, wow. That's fascinating. I just can't quite pin it. It's like floral. And it's kind of has a punchy quality to it. It's so interesting. I think that this will combine well with the food. So sparkling water. Agua frisante, as they say here. Hey, Mika, nice to see you here. Now, in Italy, do watch out. I have not noticed this in Milan, but if you go to Rome and Naples and you order sparkling water, they might give you what's called leggiamente. And leggiamente is a bit weird because leggiamente is basically stale sparkling water. I'm not sure why the Italians like that. So do watch out. If you want actual sparkling water, be sure to get it frisante. All right, let's try this out. I've been so hyped to try this out, but there's one reason why I haven't tried it out in the past 2 days that I've been in Milan. Milanese restaurants are expensive. I did not expect prices for dishes to be 25 euro. Here it is not the case because I'm in the kind of in the market. But you go to a restaurant, they're charging now 25 to 35 euro for this dish, which is crazy in a lot of these Milanese restaurants. I'm not sure why. Let me know. I remember in 2021 when I came here, I was shocked that it was a little bit more expensive than Rome and other places in Italy, but not this expensive. This is getting close to New York prices. Saffron just hits. Oh wow, that's great. Great saffron. The risotto is a bit kind of tougher, so it's a bit more al dente. It's so good. I definitely have had risotto Milanese that has more saffron in it. So this one's a bit lighter on the saffron, but still really good. For 15 euro for the risotto, and then for 5 euro extra for the beef. Let's see if the beef is worth it. Okay, the beef is definitely worth it. Oh wow, super tender. Great seasoning. Oh my god. You know, you usually wouldn't think of Italy for stews, and it might be very tempting as a tourist to come in Italy and just buy only pastas. And I've fallen into that temptation. Only pasta and pizza, and that's it. Because, you know, you're in Italy. Of course you're gonna have all the pasta and pizza. But don't underestimate the meats, because Italy does know how to do stews. In Tuscany and in northern Italy, especially, they know how to do their stews. So this is a 20 euro dish. I think it's well worth it if you want to avoid the Milanese prices. It's really good. Yeah, I like it. I'm so glad I finally had a risotto Milanese this trip. The risotto, I think, could be a little bit more wetter, and the rice could be a little bit more softer, and it could use more saffron. But for the price, I'm happy. Now, before I get to chatting, we're gonna taste test the veal Milanese. Look at that veal. Oh my god. Look at that veal Milanese. I'm super hyped. And yes, I did order a lot of food. And if you're Italian, you might be looking at this in shock. Yes, I am hungry. Yes, I will be eating mostly this, basically. Ooh, it's crispy. Ooh, this is crispy. Okay, I think I might not, I'm not gonna try to. I'm gonna be a barbarian and eat this with my hands, because it's pretty rough. I need a real knife. I can't do this with a plastic knife. This is absurd. Come on, guys. Give me some real silverware if I'm gonna eat a nice veal Milanese. Yes. Yes. I'm gonna need some lemon on this. Exactly what I wanted. Oh my god. My dreams have been answered. I'm so happy. Look at this. Wow, so tender. Perfectly crispy. The meat is very thin, which is supposed to be. You don't want a veal milanese to be too thick. And it has that Italian flair to it. The schnitzel is slightly different. I'm not entirely sure what would be the big difference, but I think the difference is in the breading. It's a very slight difference. And oh wow, I really wanted this. I really love my veal milanese. I was like in Austria and Germany a lot this past year. So I just ate a lot of schnitzel over there and I'm in love. This is great. This is great. Let's try a potato. Good potato. Nice, soft. Well. Maria says the other difference might be that they use olive oil instead. Yeah, thank you, Maria. Yeah, that's probably hit the nail on the head. It's probably the other difference with the veal milanese. It has kind of a lighter taste than the Austrian German equivalent. Wow. I'm in love. Oh, that's so good. I kind of wish I had the cranberry sauce right now and the mustard. That is definitely not Milanese style. The Milanese, I think, if they're with this veal Milanese, I love it. It's one of my favorite dishes in Milan. I just wish they had a sauce component to it, which usually they don't. And that's why if the prices are reasonable, I like combining it with the risotto Milanese because it does prove to be a very good combination. Let me know, do the veal Milanese, does it ever have a sauce component to it? Because the schnitzel in Germany and Vienna, and Germany and Austria has the cranberry sauce and the mustard. That really combines well with the schnitzel. I'm happy. I'm really, really happy right now. And yes, Italians and French tuning in, because I know certain countries, people are very particular about their wine. I am indeed drinking a white with things that usually would be combined with the red. I love white. I really don't like red. White or rosé or orange wine is my jam. Not so much fan of the reds. The reds give me headaches, sometimes makes me very red, red in the face. So I prefer my whites. Love them whites. Wow. All right, let me show you the plate one more time. This is what I'm having. Risotto Milanese, which is rice with cheese and saffron. Here we have a beef stew, beef ragout on top. And we have veal Milanese, which is breaded veal. with some salad and potatoes. And I decided to get some mustard and some ketchup. And that blue markings that you're seeing is a trick of the lights. Those are just the neon lights right next to me. And I love a good white wine. Kay says red wines also make me give me a headache. Yeah, I'm not the only one. I've met more and more people who really enjoy their white wines. Okay, so that is the eating portion of it. These are two classic Milanese dishes. Highly recommend getting them in Milan, whether you go to a big restaurant, a little tiny trattoria, or you go to this food market. The food market, one more time, is Mercato Centrale. I'm gonna point it one more time. Mercato Centrale, located right in the central train station. So I highly recommend having these two dishes, classic Milanese. You probably have, there's not gonna be too many variations. They don't go too crazy here in Italy in terms of experimentation, because that's more of the type of culture. They're very traditional here, but you'll love it. Now, feel free to ask me any questions as I enjoy some good food with all of you. Nicole says, is this a preview for Germany? I love Germany. Hopefully I can go back one day. That'll be amazing. Wendy is tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in, Wendy, on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching on Twitch. Love the look of it. Nebu says, usually veal Milanese does not have any sauce to it. Yeah, I think the Germans and Austrians are onto something. I think the French as well with their sauces. Of course, Italy does do good sauces. Well, veal Milanese does need a sauce, in my opinion, to make it perfect. Lisa says, I love your accent. Where is it from? I have a Queens accent. If you have a good ear for accents, you'll notice that Queens people talk a little bit different, especially if you're of Hispanic heritage. So I have a Queens accent. Not the Queens English, but Queens as in the borough of New York City. But more specifically, Spanish is my first language, but I was raised in Queens, in New York. And I would say it's more of a Queens accent rather than a New Yorican accent, because I grew up with a lot of South Americans. So the Spanish I learned and spoke with was either with my parents and immediate family members, or with people in the borough, which were a lot of South Americans. So my accent in English sounds different from your stereotypical Puerto Rican American. Also, my Spanish kind of sounds different from your typical Puerto Rican. So I have an accent in both languages. I have an accent in Spanish, I have an accent in English. Susie says it's mixed with a little bit of New Yorican. Yeah, slightly. I don't have like the very stereotypical accent that you hear from Rosie Perez or Lin-Manuel Miranda or who's that guy who was in Twisters? He's a great actor. Do let me know. Hey Siobhan, nice to see you here. Luna says Queens New York City accent is top tier. Dead ass, as we say in Queens. I almost says I actually say coffee correctly. Kathy says, I like rosé and moscatos. And I like my wine chilled, not warm. So no red wine for me either. Ah, yeah, I guess I'm not the only odd person who does not like the red wine. Where's the Parmesan cheese for the risotto? I think the risotto already has the cheese. They didn't provide more cheese to put on it. But the risotto is good. April says, that's funny because my husband is from Astoria. You sound like nothing like him. Yeah, Queens is pretty big. But my accent does sound very similar to Hispanics raised in Queens. I'm definitely not the only one who kind of sounds, you can kind of hear just a bit of an accent. That's not your typical American accent. Susie says, when you say door, you hear the accent. Wendy says, I'm drinking 1 glass of wine because I have work tomorrow. Bella, nice to see you here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to ask me any questions you would like. Hello, Susie. Let me show you how the dining hall looks like from below. The Tombster says, where is the typical American accent from? So there's actually literally a general American accent, at least according to media. The general American accent is from the Midwest, from Minnesota / Illinois. That's kind of the generic American accent. So that's what you hear in a lot of movies. It veers more towards that direction. If there's a character who's from New York, they'll sometimes up their New York accent on purpose. Wendy says, please tell us your next destination, a clue. Oh, the clue is the same clue I've been giving. Trains. That's the next clue. That's the clue for the next destination. Trains. Nicole says, I really thought I would see you in Japan. I did too. I really want to go to Japan. I have an obligation with my next destination, so I couldn't do Japan now in September. But hopefully soon, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Japan is pretty expensive. It's going up and down. It went super cheap in the summer, but now it's getting expensive again. People are making their guesses. Yeah. I like the guesses. You can do a process of elimination. It's not a scenic train. I'm not talking about the actual train journey. I'm talking about something else. related to that mode of transportation. Hey, Anne says, wish I was in Sorrento, Italy. My last time was August 2019. I was there with my wife, Annie, but she passed. I'm so sorry to hear that, Anne. But she passed. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. August 10th. Hey, Charlie. Oh, Charlie, you're still using your wife's account. Charlie, I'm so sad. I'm saddened to hear that happened. I bet you had good memories going to Sorrento with your wife, and I think that those are great memories to have. Yeah. Let me know, what was your favorite part? What was the best thing you guys did together when you were in Sorrento? Din Din, nice to see you here. Japan is beautiful by train. Indeed it is. Lorraine, nice to see you here. Nibu says, I prefer the NYC accent. April says, red wine has a lot of tannins and gives people headaches. Yes, exactly. Kathy says you have to carry a small little bag for silverware. That can be tricky in planes. It'll have to be checked luggage because a plane does not want you to bring a knife. I think a plane might not even want you to bring a fork. Wendy says, how's the food? The food is really good. Oh, really good might be a little bit of an overstatement. It's good for the price compared to the restaurants in Milan. The risotto can have a little bit more saffron, so it's not as quite flavorful as I would have wished it was. But the veal Milanese is truly good. It's really good. Mildred says, I'm now craving for that risotto. Yeah, I hope you do have a... It's hard to find. It depends. If you're like in a major city that had an Italian population, especially the Italian population is more recent, you may find a risotto Milanese maybe in London or New York. Wouldn't say you would have too much luck in other places, maybe in Paris, but it's going to be tough in other places. But if you have access to saffron, saffron could be rather expensive, but if you have access to saffron, you can make it on your own, which is great. All right, feel free to ask me any burning questions you have at all. Nicole says, let's try the tiramisu. I gotta finish my savory meal first. Mildred, thank you so much for 6 months of membership. I appreciate that, Mildred. Thank you so much. 6 months of being a member. Thank you. Members get access to bonus videos, such as full interviews from my documentaries. So stay tuned. There's a bunch of them already up for the Athens Urbanist. More will be posted for the coffee ones. I had a medal confiscated from me once in a governmental building, says Susie. Yeah, some planes can be rather strict. Rather strict for sure. So, Iriba says, is the veal Milanese salty like American fried foods? No. No. You will find very little salty foods in Italy overall. The only time you would perceive something to be salty is when you have a real good pasta carbonara, and that's not because they add salt to it. It's because the pecorino cheese is so sharp that it tastes salty. But in general, you will not encounter salty foods at all in Italy. Italy is very sensitive with salt. And actually, a lot of the Italians I've met that travel to New York City or other parts of the States, they usually say that food in the US is too salty. This is a common complaint I hear from Italians and other Europeans. So no, in America we tend to use heavy on the salt. Our butter has salt, and our butter is usually used for a lot of foods. And we heavily salt our fried foods, like French fries, some breaded meats, like breaded chickens, can be heavily salted. So no. In Italy, you rarely find food to be salty. If you have a taste for spice, you're going to be disappointed in Italy. And this is another thing. Some Americans come to Italy and are disappointed with the food. They find it to be rather bland, which is shocking because Italy, of course, has the stereotype of being great food. So people don't always share this opinion too loudly. So that's why you don't hear it too much in social media, because they would just be ravaged if they were to share that opinion on like a YouTube video. But I've personally heard from friends of mine who are not avid travelers to Europe, who travel maybe to Europe once or twice. When they went to Italy, they said to me, "Oh, the food is a bit bland. I'm not sure what all the fuss is about." The reason people feel that is generally, you'll see this in forums also, like on Facebook groups, people sometimes complaining about this. The reason you see this is because in America we put a lot of salt in our food. We also use a lot of sugar in a lot of things. A lot of sauces, like the tomato sauce in the pizza has sugar. Ketchup has sugar. Mayonnaise might have sugar. Sugar is in the breading of certain things. Sugar is used a lot in the US. And those two things, salt and sugar, but especially sugar, it coats your palate. So your palate gets used to sugary stuff. Even if you're not having, quote, sweets, you're still consuming a lot of sugar in a lot of American foods. It's just a habit we have in America. And when you try something like Italian like this, or a pasta dish, you might, if you're so used to American cuisine and barely had cuisine from abroad, yes, you might have had Italian food in Chicago, but that's Italian American food and it's still heavily salted, and the tomato sauce has sugar. And so when you come over here, you probably end up feeling like, oh, this doesn't taste like anything. And it's because of that. You have to just get used to it. Luckily, you'll get used to it within like a week or so. It's not that big of a deal. But yes, that might be the initial impression some Americans might have coming to Italy or France or Greece and eating foods. Germany as well, and Austria. So the other thing, the third one that's not applicable to all Americans, but some Americans, is spicy food. Americans have gotten a taste for spice in some of the major cities in the US, like New York, LA, the cities in Texas. So Americans have gotten used to adding Tabasco, jalapeno, lots of black pepper to their foods. So some of my friends who are spice nuts, when they come to Italy or France or other countries, Central European countries, they're a bit bummed because they also perceive the food to be rather bland and tasteless. And that's because spice also kind of numbs your palate. And this is the case with coffee. That's why you don't taste the finer notes of coffee if you're too used to sugar. because coffee, milk and sugar, both of them cover up your palate, so you don't really taste the notes of the coffee itself. Doesn't mean it's a good or a bad thing, but that's the reality. If you are used to American cuisine, this is going to be the reality. Your palate is a bit numbed by the sugar and the salt. Once you spend a few days having food in Italy, you'll see that the world of flavors will open up to you. And that's why a lot of people who do give food a chance in Italy, who give good food a chance in Italy, end up having this kind of really mind-blowing experience. And that's why some Americans, when they come back to the country, they start raving about it to their friends and family. And it's because for the first time in their lives, they're finally tasting the nuances of food, which they usually don't otherwise. And it's a shame because America does not need to overly rely on salt or sugar. We do that for economic convenience, just to make it cheaper. And due to the low options in buying certain ready-made foods or ingredients or sauces, we end up realizing that we don't need it. We don't need to do that. But America does it because it's just cheaper to do so. So it's a shame because American cuisine is amazing. And especially if you have American cuisine as interpreted by Europeans, depends on which, not all of them are good, but like a hamburger in France, you'll truly see like hamburgers can be delectable, deeply delectable. If you're having a good burger in Paris, oh yeah. Like I had a great burger also in Sweden. I had amazing pizza in Sweden. Sometimes when you have these American foods in other countries, you'll be blown away. Hey, April says most Americans don't even realize what Italian food is. There's like 20 different regions. Yes, each region. So food here is very regional. So if you come to Milan expecting to have pasta carbonara every day, you probably will be disappointed. You will find pasta carbonara because Milan is a very multicultural city in an Italian context and also in a broad context. But if you go to Rome and expect Naples style pizza, yeah, you can find it, but it's not gonna be so ubiquitous. So foods are very regional, very regional. Camilla says, how's your dinner? Dinner is really good. I like it. I spent quite a bit because I ordered basically 2 meals. I was a bit hungry, so it ended up being about 40 euro, I think I spent in total. 20 euro for the risotto, 15 euro for the via Milanese. So that's 35 euro, 5.5, so 40 euro and 50 cents. And then each of these were 1.5, so 3 euro. I spent 44 euro, nearly 44 euro in total. I spent basically the same I would on the restaurant, but I had twice the food. Oh, plus the tiramisu. Wendy says, I hardly consume any sugar. The problem with American cuisine, and I think it is indeed a problem, is that we have a lot of sugar and stuff that shouldn't need sugar. As I mentioned, like tomato sauce. There's no reason why tomato sauce needs sugar. It only needs sugar because in America, the tomatoes are not so flavorful. They come from longer distances. In order to make up for the flavor, they add a little bit of sugar in order to cut the acidity because the tomatoes can be more acidic. In certain parts of America, they use sugar. So we use sugar for a lot of stuff that doesn't need sugar. Mayonnaise does not need sugar. Mustard does not need sugar. Breading does not need sugar. Bread does not need sugar. We put bread and sugar in our baguettes or sourdoughs that you buy in a supermarket, for example, in order to make up for the lower quality wheat that we use. And it is indeed of a lower quality in terms of taste. And it's not just me being European centrist, European romantic. America has a big issue with its food, but there's a lot of good parts of it. I usually don't talk about the good parts because I'm never rarely in the context. America has figured out how to make food in mass, industrialize it in an immense level. And that is great because US has figured out how to make the same taste of McDonald's hamburger anywhere around the world. It's truly a feat, a technological feat. Problem is, the taste of food has suffered. So that's why even in America, if you want to avoid sugar, which I've done my best, you have to go to great lengths in order to avoid a lot of the sugars in America. I think these guys are closing soon. Oh no, it's too early. Okay. All right, ask me. I'm gonna stick around for about, I think I can stick around for about 20 minutes, I think. So ask me any questions you would like. Any questions about travel, Italy, happy to answer. I've traveled to Italy extensively. So I hope I can lend some insights. Only questions, I know a lot of people love asking this. I know why, but I don't specify travel plans. I don't specify exactly what I'm gonna feature next. And I don't specify how long I'm in certain places. But lo and behold, you will see more Italy, and you will be seeing regular live videos through mid-October. Feel free to ask me any other questions. Will I show where I'm staying? Yes. Yes, I will. Can you... A lot of people are asking, where are you going? Ask me other questions, ladies and gentlemen. I know people are really excited about the itinerary, but I don't mention it for two reasons. A, I kind of like the privacy. I really respect and enjoy my privacy when it comes to where I travel and how long I'm traveling and where I'm traveling and why I'm traveling. But the second reason is I myself don't like planning too much. So sometimes I don't even know exactly what's next. I kind of just wing it to a certain extent. Neptunster says spontaneity is beautiful. It really is. Bella says, hey, at least you were not in Springfield where they're eating cats and dogs. Yes, indeed. Indeed. I wouldn't find that too appetizing. Susie says, do you usually book your lodgings online or by phone? No, I never call. I've never been someone to call. And I also book ahead. Sometimes it's a few days ahead, sometimes it's a few weeks ahead, but I do book ahead. I haven't traveled in a way where I'm booking something the night of. And then I do everything online. I try not to book something where I need to call someone. I don't want to talk on the phone. Same thing with restaurants. I rarely, unless if I really want to go to a specific restaurant, I rarely will go make reservations at a restaurant where I'm required to speak on phone. especially if it's a language that I don't know. So here in Italy, I just generally wouldn't go to a restaurant where I need to book via phone. It does limit, of course. I just don't like it. Let me know what are your thoughts. I've never been a fan of booking things on phone. Only online. Any lodging dilemmas? I haven't had a big lodging dilemma in a while, luckily. One small dilemma here in Milan, they really require a lot of information before you go to your lodging. They require passport photos. They require you to submit your information, name, address, how long you're traveling for, your flight number. They require a lot of stuff nowadays in here to stay in Italy, which kind of sucks. And I ran into an issue where I forgot to leave my information, and the person reached to me a few hours before check-in, and they say, hey, you have to leave this information at least 24 hours before check-in. I only had maybe about 5 hours till check-in, so I was nervous that now that I gave this information so late that I wouldn't be able to have my Airbnb, because it was Airbnb. Luckily, I knew worst case scenario, I can book another lodging. I would just lose out on a night. Or B, it would be okay. And it was okay. They gave me the lodging. I was able to check in just fine. Kathy says, did you get your scarf yet? No, I didn't get a scarf. Hey, haha says, yeah, I remember one time someone found you in an Italian restaurant and was very eager. Yes, unfortunately that has happened once. And yeah. It's not so pleasant. I'm always happy to say hi for a few seconds. Always happy to say hi. If you want a photo, I'm happy to provide take a selfie with you. Because people have asked. But yes, lingering, especially if I'm filming, especially if I'm dining, or if I'm with family, friends, someone. Sometimes it is crossing boundaries. So I usually am not a fan of that. So it's happened to me very few times, but yes, it has happened to me on live video. Will you tell us where you're staying? Yes, you will find out towards the end of my stay. I always post a short video. So you have to go to my YouTube Shorts, which is my same YouTube channel, Urbanist Exploring Cities, or Facebook, Urbanist Live, or Instagram, Urbanist Live, or my TikTok, Ariel Vera. They're always posted there. But do especially follow me on Instagram, Urbanist Live. That's where you'll get all the extra juicy details of my journeys. Because I post Instagram stories, I post of trips that I wasn't unable to show on a live video. I post like museums that I was unable to film on live. I post like where I stay. So I always make a short video, but then I post more detail on the Instagram stories or Facebook stories. Nicole says sometimes people have no common sense, common social sense. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Sometimes people don't realize. And sometimes there's cultural differences, but sometimes there's people don't realize that they're crossing boundaries. Almo. Almo, no comments. I hope not, but yeah. Haha says a quick hello is nice. Yes, yes, I really love quick hellos. People are very nice. The majority of people I've met while on my adventures who are fans of the show, viewers, I have 99% have been lovely. Hello, Ariel. Do you need a visa for Europe? If you're an American resident going to Europe, no, you don't need a visa. Not now, but that is changing very soon. I think they delayed it. It was supposed to happen now in 2024. I think it's going to start in 2025. 2025, you will have to apply for a visa and pay a small fee, which I think is €7, before entering the European Union. So that will be the case soon. But right now, to enter the UK, Ireland, European Union, and certain other countries in Europe, like Czech Republic, you don't need a visa beforehand. You can show up to the airport and they'll stamp you in. That does not apply for Europeans going to America. And that's why they're changing the rules, because Europe is pissed that it's a one-way relationship. Do you find it interesting to book financially Airbnbs rather than hotels? Fred, yes, you probably noticed I stay way more Airbnbs than I do at hotels. And it is indeed the case. I stay Airbnb for 3 particular reasons. Number 1, they tend to be cheaper. They tend to be cheaper the longer you stay in the Airbnb too. Number 2, they tend to be bigger and more comfortable. Sometimes hotels are a bit tight, they're a bit small, and I really don't like them too much. And number 3 is I really like that Airbnbs are usually in the neighborhoods where there's great stuff to eat and do. In some European cities, since the historic center is pretty tight, there's not that many hotels, or the hotels are obscenely expensive in the historic center. So if you're in Rome and you want to stay in a hotel in the area of Rome where it's close to a lot of cool things to do and things to eat, then you're going to run into the issue where the hotel is going to be very, very expensive. But Airbnb is cheaper. I know a lot of people have their disagreements with Airbnb. I know what they're saying. I still use it. I've posed the same questions in my own documentary and short videos because it is a worthy discussion, but I am indeed a fan of Airbnb. What made you return to Italy? It was convenient in regards to my next destination, which is a sponsorship. And then 2, I have a special someone joining me, which is nice. And then 3, I really wanted to return to Italy. I knew people love watching the content in Italy. They really loved what I was showing and the stories I was telling, so I'm so excited. Neptunester says, have you ever had bad experiences in Airbnbs? No. I've been lucky. I've been smart. So Airbnbs generally do not book an Airbnb that has no ratings or has a low rating. I would not book an Airbnb with a rating lower than 4.8. 4.7 maybe. I would not go lower than that. The main reason for that is that Airbnb has a low rating. Most cities has plenty of options for Airbnbs. You do not need to stay in the Airbnb where the ratings are low. And if you want to save some money, it's usually not worth it because you will run into issues. And the second factor is with Airbnbs with no ratings, you do not need to be the first person to take the risk to see if this Airbnb is good or not and spend your money. There will be people out there who want to take the risk. Let them take the risk first. Stay in the Airbnb that's already has a good reputation has upwards of 10 reviews that are higher than an average of 4.7. Because it's your vacation. You don't want to spend the hardship and the time and the risk your vacation starting on a sour note because you stayed in an Airbnb that has some issue. So that's my biggest recommendation. Also, don't be an asshole. So if you're an Airbnb guest, remember, respect it as if it were your own home, and as if you were staying in a hotel. Don't be an asshole either. Did this Airbnb come with a cat? One did. It was my Icaria Airbnb, which was awesome. The cat wasn't literally in the apartment, but it did linger every night outside the apartment and every morning. Paula says, when are you going to Scandinavia? I want to return. I wouldn't go winter time, but I do want to go back. I loved Copenhagen and Denmark. I want to see more of it. Julie says, just don't be an asshole in any instance. Yeah, that's right. Just don't be an ass. Any instance in life. That should be a #1 rule. But I say that because sometimes people are assholes and they think the problem is with the Airbnb. Yeah, just be aware. Be aware. Purple says, I love the cat. All right, let's try the tiramisu before I'm kicked out of this place. It's empty, yeah. There's still a few people down there. All right, good. How was your meal, says Caroline. It was really good. Where did you have the most fun in your trips? The most fun I've ever had in my trip? Greece. Greece by far. And a very close second, Ireland. But Greece just because it was easy to meet people. It's just a friendly country everywhere you go. Very easy to meet people. There's life everywhere in the streets. It's very casual. There's not that many rules and regulations and social norms. You can really kind of be at ease in a social context. You can eat whenever you want to. You can sit wherever you want to. You can generally talk about any conversation with a Greek as well, because the Greeks are very open conversationally, and they have a big sense of humor. And all that combination just makes Greece such a deep pleasure to visit. Plus, it has stunning views. The cities, of course, they're not the prettiest, with a few exceptions. Like Naxos and Santorini, Mykonos, the second biggest city, which is, what's the name of it again? I forgot the name right now, it's slipping my mind. But there's a few pretty cities, but not all of them are super pretty. But they're definitely filled with life and with some of the friendliest people in the entire world. And that makes Greece a true deep pleasure to visit. But close second, for sure, is Ireland. Because Ireland is for similar reasons. It's some of the friendliest, funniest people you'll ever meet. Ireland is very easy to make friends, fast friends. And it's such a great country. The country also has some of the most stunning views you'll ever see in your life. And it's hard to explain, because when I told a family member who was tepid on the idea of going to Ireland, I was like, but these rolling green hills, and you see these castles, and some of the oldest structures built that have survived, known to man, and these cliffs, and all the rain. And I'm saying all this, and my family member is like, Why would I want to see some rolling hills? Green? New York is green. There's cliffs in certain parts of the US. Why do I need to go back to Ireland? You haven't seen the color green until you've been to Ireland. You haven't seen every shade of green until you've been to Ireland. Ireland truly offers some of the most spectacular landscapes you'll truly see in your life. And yes, it is raining, and that's part of the beauty of Ireland. So go to Ireland for sure. It's funny because Greece and Ireland are kind of polar opposites. So you have Greece who's super sunny, and Ireland is super rainy, but they're both awesome. All right, let's try this gluten-free tiramisu. All right, gluten-free tiramisu. Let's see. People are saying Thessaloniki. Yeah, Thessaloniki. But I was thinking the third largest city, the old capital. Nafplion is also a very pretty city in Greece. All right. Let's get some of that gluten-free ladyfingers made with rice flour. This is a really good tiramisu. The gluten-free ladyfingers are actually really good. It tastes like a normal ladyfinger. You don't really have too much of a difference. The bit grainier texture. I think that's the only difference, yeah. It's a bit grainier texture. But since you have this very good cream, it's kind of slightly charred on the top. They put some extra sugar on the top, and we have a little bit of this chocolate drizzle. It's actually a really good, unique tiramisu. Wow. But that cream, oh my. Oh yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 5 more minutes. Rapid fire questions. Ask the real questions. They're not personal, but ask the real questions. Eve Riva says less sweet. Yeah, not as sweet. American tiramisu sometimes can be a bit sweeter because they add a little bit extra sugar to it. But no, it's not. It's a bit sweeter than another one I had like 2 days ago, but this one's still really good. What's a life without good food and culinary bliss? I agree. Life is to be enjoyed with food. Not everyone has the luxury to do so. But if you do, consider it a deep privilege. Really deeply hold gratitude for the amazing food that is provided to you, because it is worth having great food. And my grandfather used to say that the only good thing to spend money on is food, especially with good company. That's the best thing to spend your money on. And I think he's right. Natuser says, do you ever feel guilty for the overindulgence of food? I wouldn't say it's overindulgence. Sure, I did order a lot of food. I did eat most of it. I wouldn't consider overindulging. I have not suffered by eating too much food. Sometimes I've gotten a little bit too full, but generally no. I think if you get to a point where you're feeling really grossly full or sluggish, or your heart is beating, or you're feeling faint, you know, if you ate way too much, then that is concerning. That is not pleasure, in my opinion. The real pleasure of food is eating just right and being satisfied, not stuffed, not starving, satisfied. And I think if you reach a level of satisfaction, that's one of the most beautiful feelings in the entire world. So I have no regrets having good food. No regrets. And I think it's one of the best things that life has to offer. And I know some people have struggled with guilt when it comes to food, because they think, unfortunately, there's people out there who might not have access to food for a myriad of reasons. It's a very nuanced topic, but my thoughts on it, quick thoughts, because I also have very nuanced thoughts about this. My quick thoughts is, you're lucky to have great food. Italians are lucky to have great food. Americans are lucky to have great food. Most Americans are lucky to have great food. French, English, Irish, Scandinavian, all these countries I've been to, you're lucky to have good food. You're blessed to have good food. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, because if anyone else was in your position, they would enjoy it as well. The world isn't healed through guilt. It's healed through productivity and through teaching. The beauty about American food, even though I do rag on it when I am in Europe, is we figured out a way to mass produce food. One of the better treats for people all around the world, from the most remote areas of Africa to the biggest cities in Europe to the metropolises of Japan to the deserts in the middle of Central Asia. Everywhere around the world, people enjoy Coca-Cola or a good chocolate bar. And that is due to America really figuring out how to make good food available for the masses. And that's something to hold gratitude in. If you're American or if you're from a European country, hold gratitude. Italy has figured out something amazing. Italy has found out to make great quality food for a lot of people in their country. Italy has figured that out. It's due to geographic reasons is one of them, but there's a lot of places that are similar geographically to Italy, and other places could do it too, and hopefully they can learn from the Italians. And we have, as Americans, we've learned from wine. So hold that in deep gratitude. And I think countries who have had the pleasure of growing good quality food, I think we can export that and show that to other countries. And we have. And we certainly have. So I think it is a good thing to enjoy food, and I think we can also spread the love when it comes to food. Polo says, are you alone? Yeah, at this point I am, because everyone left. Hey Caroline, thank you so much for the super chat. Let me see if there's any last remaining questions. Are you similar to Anthony Bourdain? I do not consider myself to be the next Anthony Bourdain. Some people have indeed ascribed me to be the next Bourdain. I kind of disagree. I'm very different personality from Bourdain. I would be honored to host a TV show or something that reaches a mass amount of people. My YouTube channel growing to the millions. I would be super honored, and I will utilize everything in my ability to entertain as many people as I can. But I most likely won't entertain them the same way that Anthony Bourdain did. I have my own particular style. I have my own particular preferences. But Anthony Bourdain did unfortunately leave a void of this kind of authenticity when it comes to travel, of this appreciation for the finer things, for the tiny things, not the finer things, the tiny things, the little things about travel, to embrace the cultural nuances. Anthony Bourdain did that really well, and it left a hole in entertainment, in mass media. And I think someone or multiple people need to fill in that hole. And that's the nature of media. You know, people come and go, and someone new comes along. So I'd be more than happy to fulfill some of that void for people. It'll be my deepest pleasure and honor to provide this kind of cultural immersion to other places for people who are watching. So no, I'm not the next Anthony Bourdain, but I'm happy to provide similar entertainment for all of you. Oh my, they're closing. Yeah, I just want to stay here for a long time. All right. Caroline, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. That's so kind of you, Caroline. Would you like to be a chef like Chef Ramsay? No. I like my food, but I am not dedicated to cooking. I like cooking some dishes, but I'm not dedicated to it. How's the wine? The wine was really good. Italy has great wine. All right, everyone. I'm about to be kicked out because, as you can see, it's empty. But this food was amazing. Highly recommend coming to Il Mercato Centrale. Almost all the options look good. I'll show you the name one more time. Il Mercato Centrale, which means the central market here in Milan. It's right at the central train station. So even if you're doing Milan as a day trip, you can eat here, go back to Verona, Venice, Rome, Turin. There's a lot of cities nearby, Florence. So this is a great place to eat. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome, and always keep on exploring. Wait, people are saying, can you take us for a walk? I technically could. Let me know. I said bye already, but maybe this could be the extended version. Do you want me to show you a little bit of the train station? I think now it's appropriate time to show you the train station. I could. Should I extend this for like 30 more minutes and show you the train station? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I'll be happy to show you the train station. I don't need to end it. It's live video. Who cares if the video's an hour or 2 hours? It's all fun. All right, let's do this. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Pass me. All right, right, ladies and gentlemen, let's show you a little bit. Let me go down here. Let's see, is there stairs? No stairs. All right. They weren't closed. I thought they were closing, but they're not closed yet. People are still here. So this is the food market. This is where I got the risotto, il riso, and they're still open. And this is where I got the veal, Milanese, il cotoletta. All right, let me know if you see me and hear me. Some shaky service here. There's even a pizzeria down here. Great, great place. There's very large toilets as well, so don't worry about that. The main level seems to be rather accessible. And here's the regular prices of the pizza. Pizza you could go pretty cheap with margarita, which is nice, and it'll be big enough for one person. You'll get full, trust me. But the specialty buys are about 15 euro. Hey, bro says keep the party going. Yeah, it's actually awesome that's open pretty late. This is the rare times you would see chicken in Italy. Chicken is pretty rare. Here's some smash burgers if you're really yearning for New York. And we have some cheesecake as well. Nicole says, have you bought any clothes yet? It's a bit tough in Italy in general. They usually don't have clothes my size. I would have to get something custom, which I would love to, but not in Milan. I would go to Naples for like a custom suit. But if I were to buy something off the rack, it'll be a bit hard. I can't find too many things my size, which is a bit of a shame. So lots of seating here, which is great. It's really, really open, casual place. It's right outside, so you can easily sit outside as well, which is great. Let me show you the train station. I think this is a little bit more important. Oh my God. This is one of my favorite breakfast items, amaritoso. And in terms of clothing, I know I'm not the only guy who struggles with buying clothes here. I think a good portion of American men probably struggle. Americans just tend to be a little bit bigger anyway, not just in terms of weight, but just in height and size. So it's a bit tough. The booth says get a coffee. It's a bit late for a coffee. I actually want to sleep today. It's cool. A lot of options here. We got salads. There's some international options. There's some sushi, but it's mostly Italian, which is great. I actually really like this. There's some ravioli. There's some experimental dishes here, which is great. And there's a cafe as well. So this is how you get here. Purple. Wendy says, what size shoes am I? I am size 12. At least in Converses. So Il Mercato Centrale is right here. Right here, right in the train station. Right here. Lisa, will you explore the streets? I will show you the train station from outside. That for sure. But let me show you the train station inside first. So yeah, I wish I could shop more off the rack here in Italy. It's a bit of a pain. I remember trying to shop once for a button down and like a cashmere sweater in Rome, and I tried a double XL, and luckily they did have double XL. It was the tightest thing I've ever tried in my life. I felt like I was about to burst out of this cashmere sweater. It wasn't pretty. And I said, hey, do you have anything a little bit like looser, more relaxed fit? And the Italian person just looked at me, looked up and down. No. And that has happened to me like 3 or 4 times. So after those experiences, I'm like, no, I'm not shopping in Italy unless if I'm going to like a suit tailor that does custom suits in like Naples. Naples would probably be the place where I would go for a custom suit. All right, so you guys want to go to Torino, to Zurich? Zurich, we could go to Zurich, 2050. Oh, that's cool. Zurich from Milan. We could go to Lecce, go to Bergamo. We can go to Napoli. Ooh, who wants to go to Napoli? Should we do the live stream all the way to Napoli? We'll get there by tomorrow, which is nice. But enjoy the majesty. Frank Lloyd Wright, according to a story by one of the people who worked on the station, that Frank Lloyd Wright came only to Milan once in his life, the famous architect from America. And he said that the most beautiful building or the most beautiful train station he's ever seen in his life was this one, Milano Centrale. Alan says, I can't see any trains. You know, it's going to be a bit tough to see trains. I don't think it'll enjoy me filming too much, so I'm going to be brief. But here's the beautiful train station. The trains are down there. I don't film too many train stations in Italy because one time I filmed the train station in Naples and the country police, the national police, stopped me and asked me to see my passport. And then I started speaking and they were like, ah, Americani? And I'm like, yeah. And then they just left. I was like, oh, let me not feature too many of the train stations here, but this is worth the risk. Look at this gorgeousness. So this is kind of a mixture between Art Deco, neoclassical, and Art Nouveau. Art Deco because you have these long lines, very kind of monumental style. Art Nouveau because of the more elaborate ornamentation. And of course classical, you can see why that is. Almo says it was inaugurated in 1931. It was indeed. And it's just a stunning work of art, even right here. So round of hearts to the people who asked to extend this live stream. I'm glad you did. So here's the machines. There's, I think, 2 types of machines. There might be 3 from the different train lines. It's not like in America where there's only one interstate train, which is Amtrak. Here in Italy, they have a few competing companies. And I'm just in love. Maravilloso. Tanya says, have you taken a high-speed train? I have. That's how I've hopped around between Italian cities in 2021. I have, and it's awesome. Wendy says, my total beauty, they do. Have you seen, do I see Five Guys? Yeah, there's a Five Guys and Burger King down there. In case you wanted some burgers, I would recommend going to Mercato Centrale if you're here in the afternoon or night, because you'll find way better food than the options here on the main train level. But lo and behold, when it comes to coffee, when it comes to small treats like pastries, generally they're good almost everywhere, so you'll be okay if you need to eat something in a rush. I'll zoom in on the details a little bit. I'm glad people asked me to extend this live stream. And just in case, you know, the Italians are all about good style. And it's very important when you're in Italy to dress well and to blend in as an Italian. Hence, that's why you have to go and buy some Crocs at the Crocs store right in the middle of the city. That way you will be able to blend in to Italian life. Alright, let me show you the other hall. Bella says, I was in a call. I'm glad you're still alive. I am still alive, indeed. And live. So, it's good for both ends. So the curved ceiling, says Miss Law, reminds me of a jukebox, which was actually Art Deco inspired. Yes, yes, indeed. It's the same design motif as a jukebox. It's an Art Deco style. So that's why you could say it's neoclassical-like, but no, it's way more Art Deco because of this curves. Look at this floor. And I love the font that they used in Italy. If anyone knows the name, do let us know. Tanya says, do you own Crocs? No, I do not. I do not own a pair of Crocs. Nor do I desire to do so. So if you want to go to Verona, as I did today, to Lake Como, or to various parts up north that are regional. You can buy your tickets here in Trenitalia. This one sells both the regional trains and the high-speed trains. And then there's another competitor called Italo for other high-speed trains. But let's put in English. There's a lot of languages. You can use English, you can put German, you can put French, Spanish, Mandarin, even Arabic. But I speak English. And I can go to Rome Termini. I can order just one way. And you can see, unfortunately, the prices are going to be high because I'm right now searching for tomorrow. If I bought these tickets a few days in advance, I would get them cheaper. I don't think I've ever spent more than 100 on a ticket. So these are very expensive because we're doing this tomorrow if you're going long distance on the high-speed train. But if you're going to something more reasonable, like Como, let's say Varena, Encio, which I went today, you'll see they're much more reasonable prices. There you go, and you can pay via credit card. Now, one note, I use Capital One for one of my cards. Capital One is of a different card service. It's not Visa nor MasterCard, at least some Capital One cards, so they don't work. So be sure, if you're coming here with a card, have at least one card that has Visa or MasterCard, either your debit card or your credit card. Make sure it has Visa or MasterCard, and you'll be able to buy anything here using card. April says Norda is the font. How much did you pay for your ticket today? I got the first class ticket, which was €11, but there was really not a first class on the train, so I overspent. It's only €7 for each way, so €14 in total to get to Varena. All right, let me show you the views from outside. There's still, you thought this was the only hall? Only two halls? No, there's a third hall. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is the outer hall. Penn Station has something similar to this. Old Penn Station, that is. So you can imagine Old Penn Station in New York City. We used to have not only Grand Central, we had a second train station that looked like this. But we destroyed it in the 1960s to make way for Madison Square Garden, a venue that certainly has famous shows, but isn't as pretty. Chris says Milan to Rome is a long trip. Yes, but you can get them for cheaper if you buy a week in advance or more in advance. Doug says train tickets are so cheap compared to the UK. Yes, tickets in general in Italy are way cheaper compared to the UK. Definitely. Mildred says thought Grand Central was grand. This is grander. So Grand Central is significantly older than this. This was constructed in the 1930s. But Grand Central was constructed in 1913. So Grand Central is way older. That's why it's not as big. They quite didn't have the same construction technology to make something this cavernous. This is truly gigantic. But I highly, highly recommend coming here. Even if you're not taking the train, do stop by. It's really worth a visit. For this, for the food market, and for days. And the metro is here as well. And there's a bus terminal on the opposite side. Right now exiting through the front. On the opposite side, you'll find a bus metro. And let's see it from the outside, shall we? The moon is coming out. Uh-oh, it's nearly a full moon. Can't live stream on the full moon. Otherwise, you'll see me transform into a werewolf. Spider-Man, Spider-Jin says, do you feel safe here? I do. I feel safe in Milan so far. The streets are pretty big, so I wouldn't walk around Milan maybe at 2 a.m. I haven't tried it yet. But I do feel safe in Milan almost all times of day and night. And then I feel safe in the train station. The train station might have a higher concentration of pickpockets. So just protect your wallet if you're going to the train station. If someone tries to help you with the train machines, with the automated ticketing machines, do not accept help unless if it's from someone who's in a uniform who easily looks like they work there. If it's anyone else, and this is a very, very strong heads up, if anyone else randomly tries to help you while buying a ticket, do not accept it. Give a firm no. Don't be nice. Just a firm no. Firm no. That's it. No politeness, no niceness, just no. Because unfortunately it is a scam in Italy where they approach you while you're trying to buy a ticket because the machines are a little bit slow, a little bit confusing. So yes, if you're new, you're not used to buying tickets in these train stations, you're gonna fumble a little bit, and then someone's gonna try to come up and say, "Oh no, you press this, you press that." What the game is that they pickpocket you, they steal your wallet, and if you're with someone else and they're also like, "Oh wait, what do you do?" They'll also pickpocket that person. So do watch out if someone tries to help you. And this, I've seen this almost every time I go to the train stations all around Italy, maybe in Milan, Rome, Naples, whatnot. I always see that one guy, and sometimes it's the same guy. In Rome, I know how the guy looks like. There's always that one guy who's always helping the tourist finagle with the machine. And whoop, there goes your wallet. So do not accept help. If someone tries to help you, and if they're being aggressive about it, after saying no, just move away, go to another ticketing machine, or go to the teller. Nicole is right. Not everyone who's being nice has good intentions. And this is part of street smarts. As I said, I know that everyone's from a major city, especially cities like New York or Rome or Paris or London. So there is indeed this sense that if someone's being nice, they're being genuine about it. That is unfortunately not the case. The scammer or the pickpocketer knows this, and they are taking advantage. It is their game. It's nothing personal. You're not targeted because of how you look or necessarily your skin tone or your gender or whatnot or your accent. It's not really nothing too much about targeting. They just know that you're not of the culture, you're not from a big city, and they are nice because they know they can take advantage. So unfortunately, when you are in a major city, you can't be too nice, and you have to not automatically trust anyone who is nice to you. You have to practice caution. Doesn't mean you have to walk around in fear or be rude. You don't have to be an asshole, but don't be too trusting. Withhold any trust. Make sure someone earns it before you trust them. And that's how to be street smart in any major city, is to, if you don't owe anyone your time, your money, or your patience, you don't owe anyone anything, You're in the city, you're living your life, you're visiting these places. It's your time. You don't owe anyone else. So make sure you never feel guilty about saying to someone no matter how nice they're being. You can say no. And that's the basic street smarts right there. That's the very base of street smarts. Once you get that kind of internalized, which is easier, is pretty easy. It's not too hard. Then you will truly be street smarts, and you will encounter far less issues if you are not from a big city. So that's my biggest recommendation. Hope that helps. Let me know if that makes sense to anyone who's tuning in. Let me know if you came from a small town or another different culture and had to encounter this firsthand. I'm very curious. All right, more of the architecture. Spider Jin says, are you going to come to Copenhagen soon? I want to, man. I love Copenhagen. Copenhagen, unfortunately, is crazy expensive. So I would love to go. Lodging is not too expensive, but everything else was expensive. So Copenhagen, unfortunately, some of these countries, I want to go so much more, like Ireland, Copenhagen. I want to go to these countries, but they're so damn expensive. Wendy says it makes sense. I'm also from a smaller town. MZ says, I remember the front desk person at a hotel in Rome. We're getting on the elevator, and he said that the two men on there were pickpockets. Yeah, I don't think that will even come to that too often. That's pretty ballsy. But maybe in the big hotels, you might see that. MZ. But it's good. It's good that they gave you a heads up. Mildred says, good eye connection. Never lose them out of your radar. Athens, there's a lot of gypsies. Indeed, there are. I saw a lot of put a bracelet on you scammers in Milan. Yes. If anyone offers to put a bracelet on you, do not. Do not. They're not being nice. They're not being friendly. If someone compliments your sneakers and offers you a bracelet, because that's their game, don't accept. Say no, walk away. Say no while walking away. Don't be polite. Don't be nice. Just walk away. Once a scammer knows that you're not going to be easy target in most of Europe and the US and North America, they're not going to bother you. People here don't get too aggressive. They only go for easy targets. So just don't be an easy target, and you'll be safe. And once you get that internalized, you'll feel very safe in most cities. Of course, there's other factors, but generally you'll feel safe in most cities. Gwen says, you give very wise advice. Naboo says, yeah, pickpocketers and scammers won't get in the fights. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that won't happen. So don't worry. Very, very rare. In New York, you do encounter kind of crazy people, mentally ill people, which is a bit of a shame. Did you see The Last Supper? No, it's sold out for like a month. I wish I could see The Last Supper, but it's sold out. You can book a group tour, but I just do not want to do a full tour of The Last Supper and other parts of Milan just to see The Last Supper. So there we go. That is the train station. Yes, not everyone who's nice has good intentions, says Nicole. Passing police sounds like an accordion. That's right. Where did you caught the pickpocket on camera? Was it in Paris? Yes, it was Elysee in Paris. Randy says, everything looks so much better without the widescreen. Thanks for the streaming. Yeah, the widescreen, unfortunately, at night, it's a bit too grainy, which sucks. Yeah, it kind of sucks with the widescreen at night. But I'm glad I can use 1X as well. Will you go on the boat in Venice again? I would love to go on the boat in Venice again. So maybe. So I hope you enjoyed this tour of the train station. It's so wonderful. Here, the train station area is safe. As you can see, there's almost no one lingering, only a few people. There's police and military right in front of the train station. So the train station here is safe. Naples has gotten better because last time I went to Naples, I also felt fairly safe at the train station. It's other countries still in Europe where the train station area is a bit shady. And that is... Where did I go with the shady train station? Right in the immediate area outside of Munich. And there was another one. I forgot. Belgium, Brussels. So yeah, there's still few train stations in Europe where outside of it is still kind of shady. But in general, here in Milan, you're safe during the day and night. Tanya says, yeah, thank you so much for the extended tour. Chris says, we did a tour for the Last Supper and we were so lucky because it was only for us. It was Christmas and not so busy. Oh yeah. Camilla says, watch a bit out there. Well, luckily there's this like military right over there, so I doubt they'll give too much of an issue. Paris, Paris also train stations. Yeah, unfortunately Paris also it kind of gets a little bit iffy, the train stations. But here it's really chill. This is what I like about Milan. Milan is a city that feels very safe. It's really good. So if you have any last questions, feel free to ask. I'll be going live regularly this entire month. So you'll be seeing many other places. I'm so excited to show you more and more places. I'm really hyped. If you have any other recommendations for Milan, do let me know. Send me a message. I don't respond to every message, but I do read them, and I'm very happy that people leave me recommendations. So know that I might not always respond, but I do appreciate them. So thank you. Have you been to Milan before? Yes, 2021, and then before I came many years before I started Urbanist around 2012 or so. 2013, I think it was. I like this fountain. What a cool fountain. By far the best train stations and safest are in Japan. Oh, that's good to know. I so want to go to Japan. Oh my god. Someone take me to Japan. I would love to go to Japan. Maybe I should just go. Should I just go to Japan? Should I go right now? F the other plans. Should I just go to Japan? Well, I'm not going to do that. But should I just go to Japan? Let me know. What's changed about Milan since 2012? This. It used to be way more shadier. Shady is a word that we use in New York English. I think other parts of the US use it as well. It means suspicious people, not friendly, a little bit dangerous. So the Milan train station also used to be way shadier before. Not so much anymore, which is great. And then other parts of Milan, same thing with a Duomo. I went to a Duomo 2 nights ago on a live video. Felt way more friendlier, way more calmer. There used to be more scammers out there in a Duomo, but now I didn't see any, which was nice. Miss Slav says another word that's used is suspect. Yeah, suspect. Thank you. Doug says, get your butt to Tokyo. Oh, maybe I will. And you should check out Manila. I would love to go check out Manila at some point. Miss Love says sketchy. Sketchy is used in British English a lot as well, yeah. In American English, it's, or New York English, it's shady. Shady. Because, you know, there's a little bit of a shade. Irene says, hello. Hello, Irene. All right, I hope all those tips helped. Do check out Mercato Centrale. Now I'm going to catch some sleep because I need it. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. It's Negroni week, says Naheed. It is. Everyone, keep being awesome. And always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Stay curious, my friends. Ciao, amici. Arrivederci. Buona notte.